In the prelude to this adventure, you and your companions pursued a fleeing Drow soldier into the wilderness. You caught the escaping Drow, but found that he had been subdued by a dragonborn warlock named Jack. You and your companions approached the stranger and demanded that he reveal if he had seen a Drow. Jack confirmed he saw a Drow and claimed the right to take the Drow as prisoner because the Drow attacked him. He said he wanted to take him back to his homeland for interrogation and to stand trial for his crimes. The party attempted to exchange the Drow for gold and mithril, but was unsuccessful. While detained, the Drow revealed that the crown prince of Ventus will be killed and replaced with an identical fake within 2 months. He offered to give them the crown prince's location and the location of the legendary magic item, the Rings of Power, that the crown prince is looking for. The party did not accept the Drow's offer because they assumed they could get that information from the other Drow prisoners. The party returned to the escaped slaves and escorted them around the Korin mountains. They saw a swarm of mutated xenomorphs with bat-like wings carrying xenomorph eggs into the Korin mountains as they passed north of the city of Twyrif. You and your companions are currently north of the Korin mountains, just a couple days south of the ancestral home of one of your companions. What do you do? One thing that happens, at the start of the day, 3 messages are sent to you and your companions via magic. Here is what the messages say. Message 1. The war with the Xenomorphs has generated interest in mithril and adamantian ornaments. The guilds, one of the factions in the country of Ventus, discovered Cypher's dwarven mine and appreciate its value. 5 titans of industry within the guild's faction invite Cypher and his companions to a gathering in Blue Harbor for a business conversation within 4 game sessions. If you do not arrive in Blue Harbor by the end of the 3rd game session, then you cancel the invitation and might never be invited again. This meeting can be delayed, but that would be considered disrespectful to the opportunity they are giving you. Other entrepreneurs and adventurers will be attending the event to pitch their ideas and businesses for the guilds to invest in. This is marketed as a prime opportunity to build connections and gather funding. Other players are given the opportunity to pitch their own ideas as well.
Say, Cyrene, your handlers, are they in Blue Harbor?
The Order of the Valkyries is in Blue Harbor. They have bases everywhere, but Blue Harbor is my home.
What do you say, Cider? 2 birds with 1 stone?
I don't see why I'd refuse this opportunity.
So the second message that you received is, the aristocrats have turned their attention to you and your companions because you have gotten strong enough to be useful to them and strong enough to be a threat. They offer you a chance to redeem yourself and be forgiven for your past offenses against the aristocrats. They ask that you restore an abandoned outpost northeast of Daggerford. Soldiers, laborers, and merchants will need to be protected. Monsters that inhabit the area will need to be pacified. All items that you recover will be given to the aristocrats. A noble will be in command of the restoration expedition and you will need to complete any tasks he orders. The noble is Hannibal's illegitimate son. You shall decide if you successfully complete your tasks. The expedition leaves Ornabyre in 4 game sessions. If you do not arrive in Ornabyre by the end of the 3rd game session, and meet with Hannibal's illegitimate son at the assembly area for the expedition. Then you refuse this opportunity. If you succeed, all will be forgiven. Failing this mission or refusing this chance to redeem yourself would be unwise.
Now, if I remember correctly, all was already forgiven. At least in the eyes of the law. I don't know about those nobles. Of course, the law and the nobility are often the same thing.
That is correct. In terms of law, you guys have been, proper punishment has been allocated out. So there was a fine plus you guys got some of you guys got a brand on your butt.
Yes.
Message number 3. A message from your mom. This is for Drek. Drek, your father has rejoined the army to help you. He wants his service to count to improve your standing with the aristocrats. Your dad and I care about you. We are worried about you. He will also be on the expedition to make sure you don't do anything stupid or act like a brat. Typical dad stuff, she whispers.
Is that to everyone, or just Drek gets that message?
Only Drek gets that message, unless you guys choose to overhear it.
If it's in his head, then I don't think I'll have the ability to overhear it.
Okay.
All right.
Well, in terms of that
then.
mission from Hannibal's illegitimate child, I think I'd only be interested if it pays well. I'm a mercenary after all, and I don't work for free.
Indeed. It was interesting up until they mentioned that any items we recover, pretty much anything significant that they want gotten during that expedition will be handed over to them. It seems like they're just trying to pressure us into working for free. And that's something I just don't do.
Of course, that we would be
They don't
working
have
free
to
was
know.
explicitly mentioned in the message. It's possible they intend to pay us handsomely. I think if we will cross that bridge when we come to that, I suggest.
Indeed. It's not the most important matter on hand currently.
I do want to make sure the message from Drek's father is saying that he'll be part of the aristocrats expedition, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, so you guys can show up at any time within the next 3 game sessions to Onabire for the aristocratic expedition to restore their outpost, or to Blue Harbor to attend this investment conference with the guilds anytime within the next 3 game sessions. And then the mission will automatically start. After, if you don't attend by the next 3 game sessions, so the 4th game session, you've basically canceled, and a consequence or an outcome will happen based on your decisions.
Say, companions, how far from Blue Harbor is Onabire? My sense of direction is terrible. I couldn't find my arse with both hands.
I'd say not more than maybe 1-2 days by ship, perhaps a little more by land. Never walked there. I've always had the command of a boat at the least. Passenger.
Well, walking's fun. It's never too late to try walking there if a boat is not working. Anyhow, are all of these peasants, ready to travel for the day? I've eaten breakfast and I am ready to go.
Yeah,
Indeed.
you can see the escaped slaves are ready to go. They've already gotten their horse out, tied it to the wagon, gotten all their packs together. Cyrene is just waiting for you.
I will say Drek would probably go and reveal the third message that he got to everyone else, just saying that Since his father is going to be on the expedition, he'd prefer to try and make sure the old man's been in retirement for a bit. He doesn't know how well he's going to hold up in a fight again. Would rather be there to make sure he's okay.
Everyone else?
Yeah, just telling everybody else here.
Oh, Cyrene responds, "Wow, you have a very cute mom, Drek." Do you reveal it to the
Correct. That
escaped
is
slaves as well?
Drek's got no reason to hide it.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
troubling. If we refuse, that makes your father prime hostage material.
Yeah.
correct. That is quite admirable that you would go to battle to save your father. I respect
That's
that.
ridiculous. Cyrene says as she overhears your accusation that the aristocrats would kidnap your father. They don't.
Oh, whoa.
We disagree with them. We don't think they're the right faction to lead our country, but they're not evil. They're not going to kidnap people. They're probably the most. Their ethos and their creed as the aristocrats is national security, and they're not going to do national security if they just kidnap someone without reason. If they kidnap someone, they're going to have some kind of justification behind it. And I have a feeling that based on your message, your father, you didn't mention who your father's name was, but whoever your father is, if he's serving within the aristocrats and he's doing a good job, they're not gonna just kidnap him for no reason. If you have a problem with the aristocrats, then they'll deal with you, like these guys here. And they point. Cyrene points towards Remishton, points towards Gilmag, points towards Cypher, points. Yeah, you guys have a problem with them based on what you did in Twyrif.
I did nothing
The
in
law has
Twyrif.
cleared us.
I'm calling the guard.
Yeah, the
I've
law.
I
been
wouldn't
acquitted of
see
my
them
charges.
taking any direct action against my father. It's more so being worried about him being out of battle for a while and suddenly trying to take up the sword again.
Oh, yeah, that's admirable that you care about him like that. It sounds like he cares about you too. And as for you guys, yeah, the law has no problem with you. My husband, Valdan, yeah, he basically adjudicated the law already in the court of justice. You're fine. It's just the factions are still mad at you, and for example, they might open up an investigation. They might bring you in for questioning. They might start a new trial based on another crime that wasn't mentioned at the time.
Well, what other people do is outside my control. I can't manipulate them from afar. I will simply do the best I can.
Yep.
Drek, my father was a lowly peasant, and my family had no interest whatsoever in military conflict. They thought I was foolish to join the army. If my father was like yours, I'd probably feel the same way. If you want to find your dad and join him in his campaign, I would be happy to assist you.
I'm sure helping him out is going to benefit everyone. My father was a very well-known knight while he was serving in the army, and I'm sure he could give you some tips with your horse riding abilities.
I'm a career cavalryman. Just because he is of noble birth does not mean his expertise exceeds mine.
He isn't of noble birth. He was born a peasant and rose to nobility through combat.
Nonetheless, he is knighted and I am not. I take it that is the primary difference between us, that and perhaps a sense of honor.
Hold, Reshmitten. There might also be the difference of several decades. I
Experience.
imagine to be Drak's father, he'd have to at least exceed our ages.
Why,
But who am
certainly.
I?
And yet I've not to say anything bad about Drek's father, but I've known no shortage of old fools. Age is no guarantee of wisdom, and I'm sure that Drek's father is wise and mighty, but age is not a virtue in and of itself.
But we've spent enough time squabbling about what may or may not happen, the dangers. Well, like you said, we'll cross the bridge when we get to it. And Drek, if in truth your father would be present, waiting for you to join this expedition, I see no reason to deny you a reunion, especially for unsubstantiated uh, opposition.
Right. All right. Who is party navigator?
It's Gilmac.
All right. What do you guys? Where is the party gonna go?
We're gonna continue our way, heading east,
Directly
north
east.
of the Korin Mountains. Yeah, we can't go into the mountains. We decided, so we're going to go directly east towards the plains. It looked like.
Got it.
Yeah.
So, the travel here is uneventful. The hills are quite rocky. Ravines are sharp. Center of the ravines are muddy. But it descends into a prairie grassland that you'd find in the heartland of the United States, or more so in the plains in Poland. And it kind of becomes really peaceful with some prairie dogs. There's some hills and mountains on either side open up to a vast expanse of grass. Do you continue going east, southeast, northeast?
I think the plan that we had decided was to head east until we got into the forest and then head south towards Anabyre and Blue Harbor.
All right, so just point me to where you want me to move the party.
Oh yeah, here we go. Maybe there.
Got it? Yeah, you come across a little bit of badlands there. And it looks like that's a place where everything's gotten quite muddy and decrepit, and no bushes, no trees, no grass is around that area. Right after you get past it, though, you do see something. It's the beginning of this tropical jungle forest. And you see something interesting in this tropical forest.
The insects here are a little too large for my liking.
Yes. Please tell me when you can see the battle map.
I can see it now.
Excellent.
Oh, me too.
Yeah,
see
I
it.
see. Random cow.
While on the march, you come across a plump cow submerged in the mud. The cow is dirty and looking around fearfully. Its front two legs have sunken down to their knees, and the cow's head is in danger of going below the surface of the mud. Just then, you see a comical smile from Cyrene Falconhand. Have you ever heard of the cow jumping competition? It is a true test of courage. Many of the escaped slaves nod their heads in agreement. You run as fast as you can toward the buttocks end of a cow and try to jump over. The danger is not jumping high enough or far enough and smacking your balls against the cow's head. There is also the danger of getting kicked by the cow. Everyone says that only the strongest and most respected adventurers are able to succeed in this test of athletics. Do you think you can do it?
I do not think I can do it. I am not tall enough, nor mighty, nor brave enough.
Unfortunately, athleticism is not my strong suit. But hey, I imagine a milking cow would be good. It would be a good use to these commoners once they set up shop.
Drek, why don't you try it?
I am in full heavy armor. I do not think if I landed on it that would go well.
Oh, please. Our armor is this armor. Yours may be a little bit decrepit, but it's still shaped to your body. The point of this armor is that we can move at full speed in it. Do not let your armor deter you from jumping a cow. Surely you are trained for this.
I'll give it a shot, but
Regardless,
not my fault if I drown the cow.
Yeah, I don't know if right now is a good time to try that. Perhaps we should try to save the cow.
It's okay. The cow is stuck in the mud. It will take several. So it'll take at least 30 minutes for the cow head to go beneath the mud.
Oh, okay. I've got an idea.
Hmm?
I guess if I'm gonna attempt this to begin with, Drek's gonna pull out the rope that he has from his pack and hand one end to them and attempt to make the jump.
Who
All
hand
right,
is
I'll
who?
take the rope and
Okay, got it.
I'll take the rope and I'll tell him, I'll give you 2 gold coins if you can make it.
All right. So just roll an athletics check.
Yeah, I want you to run up to the butt end of the cow and then roll an athletics check.
All right.
Careful of the
So-
mud, Drek.
Drek's just gonna start running as fast as he can and attempt to make the jump. Let's see how this goes.
Okay,
23.
So you're like an Olympian. You're running toward this cow, and there's actually an Olympic sport where you have to just run toward a big saddle and then jump and then do some flips. So just like that, just like an Olympian, you would see Drek starts sprinting toward the butt end of the cow, and the cow is actually really afraid because this random predator is sprinting toward his butt, his blind spot. And so as Drek approaches, the cow tries to kick Drek. And at the same time, the mud is slowing Drek down in his heavy armor. So let's see what kind of attack this cow can make here. But luckily, the cow, the hooves miss Drek, and you manage to hop over him. Now you're hopping over the cow. It's a beautiful thing. You're sailing. It's a great sight. There's an ooh and an ah from the audience. Someone's mouth is stunned and wide open in amazement. And those small horns on the top by the head of the cow, your pants, the balls, your family jewels are passing very close by. The difficulty
applaud
is somewhat interesting at this point. Oh, the difficulty is just too much at this time, as one of the horns gets very close. Do you want to re-roll or something?
I'll take a reroll.
Okay.
So,
Best of luck.
reroll athletics.
Yeah. Spend an inspiration, re-roll.
Yeah, let's see.
But it's a beautiful thing.
Wow.
You manage to sail past the cow's horns, narrowly avoiding a very painful situation. And the people are in awe of you. And now you are going to gain a feature. Go to your features. Go to add a passive feature. And you're going to gain a feature. It's called Cow Jumping Champion. And it's going to give you +2 reputation and respect among the escaped slaves and Cyrene Falconhand because they witnessed this incredible achievement. Even the cow is stunned, and he is very impressed with you. So just go ahead and include Cyrene, the escape slaves, and the cow. And also say that the +2 gives you a bonus to deception and persuasion checks. And this bonus will be there in perpetuity until it disappears because of your actions.
I clap my hands as loudly as I can, yelling at the top of my lungs, Drake, that was awesome!
I'll be
There we go.
clapping politely.
Truly a champion!
Alright. Yes, well, and then I'm going to add the rope around it, and Drek's just going to be, like, breathing heavily. I almost lost something important.
But you gained something important. Respect.
There's a round of applause. They're stunned. Even the cow is trying to escape the mud because it realizes someone else might do the same thing. So it's now even more dangerous as the horns are flying left and right, and the cow is sinking further and further.
Drek,
I'm
are
gonna,
Drek, are you planning on trying to tie a rope to the cow and yank him out?
Yeah, just something to where we can try and, like, help guide it out and get it out of the mud a little bit easier.
Okay. Does not require a skill check, so you easily put the. I mean, he's kind of stuck, right? So you easily just throw the loop of the rope around the cow, and now you have it tied around the neck of the cow.
once he gets it tied, I'll start pulling from my position on shore, where I was holding the rope that Drake had given me.
So you start pulling, and it starts strangling the cow as well as trying to pull him out. And the cow weighs a lot. It weighs like 200, 300, 400 pounds. It's all stuck in mud up to its knees. So it's very, very tough. And as you pull it, the cow starts getting strangled, and you also start like tipping the cow over from your angle.
Hold
like
on, just a sec.
Yeah?
Sorry, I'm talking to them while they're pulling. That might not. Yeah, that might not work.
Nope, this isn't looking like it's a good idea.
Perhaps I can make the cow
Yes, you're
bigger.
right.
Smaller, I think.
Smaller.
would be the play.
Would Drek
the cow
still be
smaller
in the
than-
mud next to the cow right now?
No, you're right where your token is. You're on the shore.
Oh, okay. So he runs,
Just
jumps
standing
off, and then
there.
comes back to shore.
Yeah.
All right.
Alright.
Nicholas is gonna take a couple of minutes to cast. Let's see, which one is this? Yeah, right here.
If we make
What
it
is this?
smaller, there's a higher chance of it drowning.
Oh
And
no
if
no
you
no
make
no
it
no.
larger, it could just walk right out, I imagine.
Yeah.
And also very likely flee and or trample any of one of us.
Yes.
I'll
I have a
conjure
plan right
a floating disc. Using a couple of minutes to cast it as a ritual. I am going to attempt to. I'm going to move. Well, how much does it hold? 500 pounds.
Yes.
So I'm going to step onto it and move it out across the mud. I'm not getting stained. My nice doodads. And I'm going to cast enlarge reduce on the cow. Going to reduce it in size.
Okay.
Well, now that it's smaller and less heavy, I will signal to them. Oh yes, the floating disc was for me, not for the cow.
All right. Nice.
So once I reduce the cow's size by one, it should be easier to pull it out of the mud.
So you're on the
See,
floating
what-
disc when you try to pull the rope? Is that what you're doing?
No, they're pulling the rope. I'm just casting enlarge reduce. I could help these strong men. Let's see, enlarge reduce. Let's see.
I mean, okay, it gets smaller. I don't think its weight changes.
No, it does. It been reduced. Its weight is reduced to 1/8 of normal. So
Oh,
its
okay.
weight becomes
Yeah,
divided by
yeah,
8.
with that great idea, everyone's been working together on this, so I'm gonna give everyone inspiration. So let me go ahead and give you guys all one. But yeah, you managed to succeed, and with that kind of creativity, the rope, the enlarge reduce idea by Gilmac, Nicholas applying it, direct putting the rope around the cow. Cow, actually, when you pull the rope, the cow kind of flips over, it tips over, and it lands sideways on the mud, surprised at its own kind of lightweight body now. You kind of drag it out, and yeah, he comes on over, and now he looks at you guys a little bit
Right.
sheepishly, especially at Drek. He doesn't want you to hop it again, but apparently he likes Gilmac a lot.
I give Drac the 2 gold pieces. Fantastic work, Drac. I'll have to tell that story to everyone I meet.
All right. Oh, and when I said so, you gain +2 reputation and respect with the escaped slaves, Cyrene, and the cow. So and that +2 is basically what gives you the +2 to persuasion or deception checks. In your passive features, you have +1, so I just wanted to make sure you don't miss that.
Oh, okay.
Yep, and sounds good. Also, it's not the commoners; it's the escaped slaves. So no other commoners know about this.
Oh.
Yeah, they weren't here to witness your greatness,
Yep.
unfortunately. So I would make sure to correct that
Released
note.
that day.
I don't want you to just go. I don't
There.
want you to mistakenly think that other commoners respect you more. They didn't see you do it. All right. So yeah, the cow is
I'll
with
hear
you.
about it.
He's resting.
We just bring all the commoners back, and there's just a story about a knight in full plate sprinting and jumping across a cow.
Yeah.
I don't believe it. Y'all must have been smoking.
The escaped slaves go. We would really like a cow. If we ever, it seems like it's more of a bull actually with the horns. If we ever start farming, we can use the bull to plow our fields. That'd be really nice.
That was
Yes,
actually
let's take it with
my
us.
reasoning.
It definitely was a strong bolt for that. He almost cut right through my armor when I jumped him.
Yeah.
Went.
Do you guys want to continue on your journey?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, sounds good. Let's go back to the world map.
Hook the bull up to the cart, and we begin moving.
That sounds good. Gilmac, where do you want to go next?
Well, before we start walking, I would have attempted to, befriend the cow by just normal means, cleaning off some of the mud and making sure it knows my intent is not to harm it.
Okay.
But yes, then I would like to ask the party, are we heading to Onabyre or are we going to Blue Harbor at this point in time? What is our plan?
I'm pretty sure the slaves escaped from Onabyre, so I don't think we should go there.
Yeah, the escaped slaves
They're
overhear this
Onabyre.
conversation. They're like, no, we do not go to Onabyre. No.
Yeah, I think we make straight for Blue Harbor.
We
All
can
right.
go for Blue Harbor, take a boat to the City of Glass, and then that can go and make it fairly quick to our mine.
Yep, sounds like a good
And
plan.
when I hear
Chartering
the
a boat
slave
for
saying
so
that,
many is gonna be a little bit expensive, but I think I've got the funds for it. Or I will have the funds for it after this meeting in Blue Harbor.
righteous. And when I hear this escaped slave saying that that Onabyre is a place to avoid, I'm gonna elbow Cyrene and say, "The people in Onabyre are bad. See, those nobles in Onabyre, they can't be up to good stuff, can they?"
Yeah, we'll need to investigate it.
Anyway,
Simon says. All right, so you want to continue on that path? go back? That line?
Yeah, I think that's the yeah.
Okay.
Steering clear of Aunabire, and then we'll head down towards Blue
Alright.
Harbor from
It's not
this.
exactly steering clear. You're going. You're gonna directly intercept a road, a really busy road from Daggerford to Unabire. And it's not just like Unabire is that one dot. There's a lot of farms and houses by there, just like a regular town in any country. There's gonna be suburbs, right?
Oh, okay. Then perhaps we should go north of Daggerford, then cut south.
Yeah. Okay. So you're gonna go this way. All right. So now you come across those mountains. Those mountains are a bit hard to pass by. As you're traveling, can you guys see the? Let me know when you guys can see the landscape.
Yeah, I can see it. Oh,
Them.
never mind.
I'll give you guys a couple minutes. As you are traveling home, Cyrene walks beside the party and starts a conversation. A party actor, party leader, feel free to jump in here. But yeah, have you ever heard of the Federation of America? Cyrene says.
I've never heard of such a thing.
I don't think so. No.
Gil
In
might
all my studies.
shake his head no.
Well, let me refresh your
Sounds like
memory.
a silly name.
Let me refresh your memory on how our country was founded. Ventus was founded 200 years ago by settlers across the sea. Your childhood was filled with peace and prosperity. It has been 50 years since the bloody civil war ended between House Rivendell and House Orthendine, the two most powerful noble families in the kingdom. An uneasy peace was forged under the leadership of King Hadric when the Yuan-ti serpentfolk of the west invaded our nation. The people of Ventus put aside their past grievances to repel the invaders. The Yuan-ti in this story are the Federation of America. Scholars commonly call them the Federation. We have not had any contact with them for decades, but many in the clerics faction are interested in exploring out west. It is only natural that we expand and grow our country. It is manifest destiny. Manifest destiny is the divinely ordained right of the Republic of Ventus to expand its borders. How do you feel about that?
I feel positively if they pay me well, and negatively if they're not interested in hiring knights to fight for them.
I guess every country needs a reason to expand. You want the Federation though? They seem difficult opponents, to say the least.
Yeah, they're a deadly opponent. I've heard stories and books from the past, read them. They're a very tricky people. They live in vast deserts, but we haven't seen them for decades, so maybe they've disappeared. Maybe they've repented and their gods have punished them for being heretics, wiping them from the
I've
from
heard
the
that the
planet.
gods of the snake people are wicked.
Exactly. That's what we believe too.
Well,
Mm.
well, in every adversity there is an opportunity. What my old master used to say. If these Yuan-ti desire conflict, we'll be sure to take them for all they're worth.
Yeah. Have you heard of the town of Fandor on the eastern frontier?
Oh yes, actually.
Excellent. Well, might be a good thing for you to know that this is a new village on the frontier established with the help of Blue Harbor. I'll skip introducing the rest of it because if you already know about it, how they peacefully coexist with the indigenous people, I'm from Blue Harbor, so of course I know all this stuff. But I know that Remishton is quite a cavalier, and you would be interested in getting a better horse, or at least learning how these horses are bred. There is a tribe of nomadic centaurs that live many days' journey to the northeast of town. They have the strongest and fastest horses ever seen. Some people believe those horses have centaur or godlike DNA in them. If you're interested in meeting those centaurs, I recommend you talk with a local temple in Fandor. How do you feel about that?
Why, yes. Oh, go ahead. I pat my horse and I look embarrassed and huffle. I say, "Well, it's true that my noble steed is not really of noble breed. It's more of a not a pack horse, but more of a riding horse than a war horse. I suppose I would certainly relish the opportunity to look at some more, well, military-minded stock. If given the opportunity, I would love to visit that place."
Hmm. Excellent. Well, all you need to do is go to the temple in Fandor and talk with the priests there, and I'm sure they'll point you in the right direction. This journey, it reminds me of my early days as an adventurer. You want to go Mac, would you want to go directly through Daggerford, or where do you want to go?
I think we maybe should circumvent the town and walk through the forest here.
Okay. Yep,
And then...
But I'm sick of trail rations.
Alright, it's going to take you several days to get past here. So, as you're going by, Cyrene talks about her life. I grew up in a middle-class family. My father was a carpenter working for the guilds, and my mother was a servant at the local temple. I dreamed of becoming a famous hero and slaying many dragons. When I turned 21 years old, I embarked east of Fandor to explore the unknown. I ventured into many dungeons and battled terrifying monsters. Over time, my renown grew, but always slower than the adventurers that had joined a faction. The reason the adventurers that joined a faction gained more fame was because the factions gave them credit for their accomplishments. Factions...
Hang on, guys. Someone at the door. I'll be right back.
Alright. So factions do not give credit to freelance adventurers. The factions do not share the accomplishments of freelance adventurers with the people. The clerics will give you a reward after the debriefing because they are good people. However, no one is going to give you fame or renown because we don't know if you will abuse it. My intuition tells me that your party wants to remain unaligned. I wanted to do you a favor and tell you that this is one of the challenges you will need to be aware of. How do you feel about that?
Well, I wouldn't say I want to remain unaligned. I'm not too sure about the rest of my friends here. We all have futures in mind, hopefully. But for the most part, it's not unheard of for those who are unaligned to to accomplish such great feats. That's their that fame spreads via word of mouth, even amongst those, even outside of a faction's sphere of influence.
Oh yeah, no doubt. That's what happened with me. It just took a long time.
Well, I don't know about the rest of us, but I'm willing to work for my pay, even if that's not my good plan, at least.
So far, I feel like we've shown that we definitely like to make an entrance when we're doing something. And we're really hard to ignore.
Yes.
Fame is not something that Gilmac's interested in.
Better, of
For
course.
for a while, he entertained. He was almost baited into wanting to participate in the politics of the clerics faction, and quickly decided that it's not what he wants to do. If presented with the opportunity, he would remain unaligned.
What do you want to do?
Well, it's simple. I want to live my life and do as I wish, not be quote unquote controlled by anybody.
Admirable.
I like the way you
I
think.
approve.
Uh, Gil-
Me, what do I think?
yeah.
Well, I'm mainly interested in money and a little interested in fame. But I'm also interested in staying with my companions. You're good folks, and I'd like to remain in your company for some time.
Thank you kindly.
All right. So Gilmac's just going straight south. Is that what you're doing?
Yes, onward.
So yeah, you arrive in Blue Harbor. I'm going to show you guys what Blue Harbor City looks like.
All right. Time to get my game face on.
I just realized Drek can't really openly talk about his end goal, especially with her around.
Yeah. I actually want to take over the country. This is Arian just looks at you as if you're insane.
I want to rule everything.
Hmm. From the heavens above to the nine hells, actually, yes. If I
Exactly.
can take the abyss, I take it too.
Can you guys see Blue Harbor? The map?
Still loading in.
Still loading. Okay. Give it a minute.
All right, I'm here.
There we go.
I see
All right,
it.
yep, I can see it.
It is very blue.
Yes, it is. Feel free to take a
And there's a
moment to
harbor.
look around.
Oh wow. Very, very well put together.
All right. The bells.
I'm
Are...
interested.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm interested in the one like brown tannish building, just right over here.
Oh yes, probably a tavern and inn, temple nearby. The bells from the temples and churches. The bells are ringing from the temples and churches with delight. Men and women are kissing on the streets in celebration. The taverns are packed with customers, and the mood is happy and joyful. The Drow attacked the Xenomorphs from the rear. The Republican army has broken through the Xenomorph horde. The Xenomorphs are fleeing to the west. Everyone believes that victory is inevitable. A handful of kids bump into you and your companions from behind. They smile with what you think might be devious embarrassment before running away.
I check
Gonna
my
check
coin
my
purse
pockets.
immediately.
Absolutely checking pockets.
Okay, so yeah, you guys catch them. They took a few coins from you. What do? They're still running away. You can see them.
I chase them down and say, I dare you to keep running and find out what happens.
They run even faster, and now what the kids do is they split up.
If they're still within range, can I just cast command and tell them to stop?
Of course. Which kid would you like? There's 6.
Oh, 6. Shit.
Just target the one that bumped into you.
You don't know
One
which
kid
one
didn't
bumped
bump
into
into all
you.
of us.
You don't know which one bumped into you. It was from behind.
Let him go. Count your money. Let him
No,
go.
I'm charging this kid and at least one of them and grabbing them.
Okay. So yeah,
Can I just look at them and tell if one of them looks like a ringleader of the group?
yeah, you can, but it's gonna take an action, and I'm afraid it's gonna be hard for you to. It's gonna be harder for you to catch him if you do that.
Yeah, I guess I'll just cast command on whichever one looks like he's like ahead of the rest.
Okay.
So the fastest one out of them.
All right. So go ahead and cast the spell, and I'll roll a savings throw for it. If you want to try to catch them the old-fashioned way, because you have a horse, Remishton, I'm gonna say it's just athletics, and it's gonna be pretty easy.
Alright.
Let's just say like a DC 15.
Oh.
Yep. And okay, there's the command. What's the command word that you say?
Halt.
Halt. Okay. Yeah. So it's gonna be wisdom saving throw, right? Yeah. Oh wow. How did you fail that? Well, let's just say that you get him. It takes Remishton a little bit longer, but you catch one of the kids. Command word. Oh, you
I
re-roll
also
it.
use my inspiration
Alright.
to make sure I catch them.
Well done. You catch the kid, one of them, and the command word. Saving throw 17. Does it succeed?
18 is my DC.
Yeah. So you catch two of the kids. I want each of you to roll a 1d6. If you roll a 6, something good will happen.
How do I roll? Just like
What
roll
you
a dice.
Yeah, roll a 1d6 / R 1d6.
Yep.
Nice. Oh wow. So yeah, Ramesh
There
didn't
it
catch a
is.
kid. He has a handful of gold coins in his pocket, and Drac, you managed to stop the what appears to be the fastest of them, the most sharp-witted, keen-eyed. But he freezes in place when you cast that spell on him. He looks a bit terrified, and he has the most coins on him. Plus, he has a little little red cap on his head. And he's just looking at you, kind of afraid. Please, mister. I'm just trying playing around.
Stealing coins from very dangerous people isn't playing around. That's called stupid.
It's just so hard making a living out here. You know?
Get a job.
It's so hard. What are you talking about? I don't have
I'm pretty sure
items
kids
or
can't get a job.
weapons like you.
When I was a kid, I got a job.
Nicholas would
I'm gonna
employ him
look-
for sure.
How many coins did the one I caught have? Like, how many coins did he take?
Yeah, so both of them have let's say the one that you took, Remy, has 20 let's say 10 gold pieces, and the ringleader has 40 gold pieces. Each of you guys was only missing 5.
Oh, missing 5.
Alright.
Let me
Yeah,
just
so that's
drop
5
that.
times
If I'm
4, that's
missing-
20. But let me write it down right. I think I said, did I say 10 for the one that you caught, right? I said
Yes, I think
said
so.
I said 10 for Remy, and I said 40 for Drek. And then everyone, so each of you guys is missing 5 gold pieces.
These are some very successful thieves. I might
Thieves?
actually hire them.
Thieves, mister, what are you talking about?
My
You're
good
clearly
lad,
a
what
pickpocket.
you've done is called stealing. Pickpockets, a burglar, it's all different brands of thievery. These ones are very successful. I might actually be interested in hiring them. I've got use for bright minds. And quick
I knew you
fingers.
would.
Just
Say,
let us
kid,
go.
how would you
Just
like
let
a
us
job?
go.
So I'm gonna just go ahead and take all of it that he's got, and then just let Cypher talk to him.
So,
No,
Kid,
don't take
how
our
would you
money,
like-
the kids say, trying to gain
Yes,
sympathy from
I'm
the
robbing
crowd.
a child.
I'll take his money. I'll say, just think, you took 5 gold from me. If you hadn't tried to rob me, you'd still have 5. Be more careful who you target. Target nobles, do not target warriors.
indeed.
Let
They're
your
less
missing
likely-
gold be a lesson.
So
I let him
you
go.
take all their money?
I'm taking
At
all
least from
mine.
the guy I caught, I'm definitely taking all his money because I want to make sure I can give 5 back to one of my companions as well.
Okay, so he has this coin purse in his hand, and you grip over the coin purse, and the kid doesn't let go of the coin purse. So now you're doing this tug of war, but obviously you're much stronger. And the kids are saying, "Please don't take our money, you thief!" If people are now looking at you guys like, what the heck are you guys doing?
Don't have
These kids
time.
tried to rob us.
I mean, Cyrene was here, so she's a paladin. We're not. I don't think she'd condone us stealing
Yeah,
from kids. It's
Cyrene
pretty
was
obvious
looking
that they
after
should
the
lie.
escaped slaves, guys. There's a lot of
Oh,
other
she
things.
wasn't with us.
No,
Oh,
it's
okay
just
then.
you
No
guys. You
problem.
guys maybe like are right in front of the escaped slaves. She's like behind, looking at a cow, looking at the other. But now she's got now you've got her attention. There's something going on, and she's making her way over. She'll be over in a couple minutes.
Can I attempt to make an intimidation check?
Yeah. Tell me what you do.
I guess for this, since Rick doesn't care that they're kids, gonna cast thaumaturgy for like harmless tremors in the ground. So as he's talking, he's just like holding the kid up, holding the bag of gold, and just everything around starts to shake, and he's just like quiet and leave before anything gets any worse.
And I'm going to
Just
say to the crowd, nothing to see here, just a couple street thieves getting what's coming to them. And I let the kid go and I give him a clap on the shoulder and say, "Get lost, thief."
You have to fight him for a few minutes to get the coin purse away from him. They have a
Oh,
death
come
grip
on, my
on.
strength is 20. I'm
Yeah.
not able to just take it out of his hand.
Well, yeah, you can if you break their fingers.
Well, I'll try to, if he's really gonna hold on to it, I guess that happens. I'm just trying to roughly grab it out of his hand. I'm not doing it gingerly.
I'm just attempting to like scare him into just letting it
Yeah.
go and
So give me the
leaving.
intimidation check. Give me a strength check. It's not athletics.
All right,
Oh,
just
man.
normal roll or advantage. for
Let's just
the
do normal.
tremors.
Yeah, don't worry. It's gonna be a
Alright.
very low DC. Your creativity made it so is it low DC? So yeah,
21.
strength check. You pry it out of that kid's fingers. No, the kids say, and you know the other kids, the other 4 kids, they're quite a distance away, but now they're saying, "You bully." Yeah, Drek, you scare both of them, and they run off, and now you get 50 gold pieces. 10 for Remy, 40 for Drek. Each of the other people, everyone's missing 5 gold pieces, by the way. So subtract 5 from
I'm-
your inventory, but then Remy and Drek,
I
you
have.
get 10 and 40.
I'm giving 5 to Gilmac.
Just Gilmac, not game night.
I'm gonna give 5 to game night.
I'm wealthy.
All right.
No,
looks like-
keep it.
I'll keep
That
it.
was very entertaining. I'll be coming into quite a bit of money very soon.
All right.
At no point does Drek ever just like look like he's calm.
So yeah, Cyrene walks up to you guys.
Oh,
What was that
man.
about?
A
Some
bunch of
thieves,
thieves.
Pickpockets.
Okay.
Max quiet.
One of them was quite successful. He had 40 gold on him. He must have taken from many folks.
Oh, Gilmac, why are you so quiet? Cyrene says.
I didn't agree with the shakedown of the kids, whether they stole money or not.
But you did take the money back that I gave you, did you not? That was only acquired through the shakedown.
Yeah, I was waiting for the opportunity to speak, and I would deny it. So keep the money. Keep the
My
money,
apologies, Gilmac.
Mr.
You're
Black.
better than me.
I'm afraid our reasons for refusing the money are very different, Mr. Gilmac.
Well, welcome to my home. Welcome to Blue Harbor. I think I'm gonna drop off these refugees at the temple. There's one in the city center.
I don't think they agreed to go with you.
Well, she turns her attention to the escaped slaves, the dwarves, the humans. You guys turn your attention to them. They're looking at you guys. I think that was the plan for me. They didn't agree to it, so they're free to choose what they want.
They've had plenty of time to come through here and interact with everything, to think about what they'd want.
The escaped slaves turn to you guys, your party, and they say, "What do you propose?"
Gilmike would say, according to me, you're free to go. I no longer wish to babysit you, and you should be out of danger at this point, and you can take your lives in your own hands at this point.
And my offer, as ever, is always on the table. A couple of weeks of hard living, but you'll be free. You won't have to hide. You'll have your own homes, and frankly, I'm no lord. The land you claim on my, at least on around my area, you won't be paying taxes on. I offer a mine to work in. I offer my connections to help you get started. Fresh water, of course. You have the bull that you can use to plow the fields that you'll inevitably be sowing. An entirely new life, under no rule save your own. Of course,
What?
with the opportunity for employment by me.
Cyrene is scratching her head. You're claiming that you can make these refugees tax exempt.
Oh, no,
That's
no, no, no.
that's
I say,
insane. I mean, a tax collector will come by, and
I mean,
and
that is true.
under no
Oh, sorry.
rule, and you're claiming they're not going to need to follow any rules. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, you must be that must be crazy, right? What if they
Irene, you
do
misunderstand
something?
me. You misunderstand me, Cyrene. I'm saying they wouldn't have to pay taxes for, like, levies, like one would give to a lord if for farming his land, tithes. I believe you're familiar, yes?
Yeah.
I'm saying I wouldn't collect those. Like if they came to live on within my property, I wouldn't collect those. Is what I'm saying. Not that I'd
Oh.
make them free of imperial tax or whatever. Like I said, I'm no lord. I don't get to decide that.
Well, it seems like they wouldn't. So you would not be. You would be their lord, or you would not be their lord.
I would not be their lord if they chose to work for me. As I have employment opportunities there, I'd be their boss per se. There's semantics, but like I said, I'm not claiming that I have the power to remove them from this country's laws. At least not so long as they live within this country. I'm providing them what I believe to be a more hospitable place to rest and rebuild.
Yeah. So let's go back to this no rule. You offer them that they can not need to follow any rules other than their own. But you're now backtracking and you're saying they do need to follow the rules.
I I see another misunderstanding. I meant to say, let me
Miscommunication.
rephrase that. Let me rephrase that.
Okay, go
Sorry.
ahead.
This conversation has been rife with miscommunication, and perhaps this was my fault. What I meant to say was they'd be free to set up their own community, uh, outside of say attempting to rejoin a random village somewhere, uh, having to conform to whatever not only the laws of the country, of course the unbreakables that would have the imperial guard knocking on your door. I mean that they'd be able to build their own community, their own local rules, basically. Things that would affect them, self-enclosed.
Right. Cyrene says, so the Republic has soldiers. Everyone knows this. They
Indeed.
have soldiers, they have an army, and those soldiers can go to different places in the country. The Dwarven mine is in the country,
Correct?
right? So, I mean,
Oh, are
okay, it
you?
seems like you're not offering. Are you offering them protection, some kind of guarantee when if they were to go to your mine and build their own houses there and work, presumably work for you?
Cyrene,
I
are you
am.
threatening that Imperial soldiers
I'm
are
not
going to
threatening
storm
anything.
Cypher's
I'm
mine?
saying, pointing out that that is something that is threatening the escaped slaves. That's why they ran away from Onabar, and I want them to be taken care of if they actually choose to go with you.
I am offering protection. And I actually, should they choose to come with me, I will defend them to the best of my ability. Um,
What
and
what
while
what does that mean?
I,
What kind of
if
guarantees,
one, well,
promises?
one, well, I, the soldiers would have no reason to come to my mine. To the best of my knowledge, nobody knows these slaves are even. Nobody is aware of their identities, and as such, nobody would think to look in a newly established mine off in the boonies by uh, Red Larch. So there's that. There's the shield of uh, information, and there's also the fact that should they come under assault, I will be there in an attempt to negotiate, broker peace. I can't. You see, of course, I can't outwardly say I would oppose the nation of Ventus if push comes to shove. But at the very least, I could. There would be no political backlash for me to say that I was harboring these slaves. As of now, I'm part of no faction. My actions are mine alone. I don't think you can say the same, Cyrene. If there was an agent, a turncoat within the ranks of the clerics, and they informed the aristocrats that a large party of escaped slaves was being harbored, you would have to deny them, or risk another conflict at a time when our nation can't handle one.
All right. So let's go back to the details of what you're saying. If these dwarves and humans, and she points towards the escaped slaves, were to go with you, you would be there. You would offer them a job, and
First,
you're saying that you would not force them to pay taxes to you. Do you normally force people to pay taxes to you?
I
I
mean, I've
imagine
never
living
had.
within the bounds of this city, and I point to Blue Harbor, would force taxes
Oh
upon
yeah,
them.
they
Most
do. There
communities
there are
collect
aristocrats
fiscal
here. There's a
protection.
city tax, and the cities offer
Cypher
services,
would do no
public
such thing.
services. Are you saying that Cypher is now a lord of a city, or is he
Not of a
control of?
city, but he has property.
Yeah, he has
Cypher,
property.
I
I'm
owe no explanation to this woman. She is foolish, I
a
think.
Oh my
Perhaps we
landed.
should
goodness.
part ways.
You won't even explain the terms of the deal to convince these escaped slaves to go with you. That's what I want you to do.
The
The
There
terms
is
of
term,
the
no
deal.
deal. He's merely offering a gesture of goodwill if they
a
wish to
guaranteed
accept, and
employment,
employment if they're in.
space to live and raise their families, begin anew, a guarantee of safety through weapons manufacturing and training.
Yeah.
Um, Frankly, should they manage to work for long enough, without interference, even if a group of soldiers arrive, they may well possess the abilities to buy their own contract and free themselves.
So you're okay. You're saying that okay. I need to she's taking a moment just to comprehend the terms that you're putting for these escaped slaves. You're saying that they will not need to pay taxes to Cypher if they work for Cypher in his mine. You're saying that you'll give them fresh water and you'll give them some kind of vague wages if they work with you, with your, work for you.
Correct.
You're saying that no one would want or no one would think to look for the escaped slaves at the dwarven mine.
Indeed.
And you're saying that you would do some kind of vague negotiation on behalf of the escaped slaves if or when they are discovered at your dwarven mine. Is that
That is
everything
correct.
you're offering?
Yes, yeah, that seems pretty much it. Although, if for the sake of clarity, perhaps taxes should be rent. They won't have to pay rent.
Pay rent. So you're charging them rent to build their houses by your dwarven mine?
Oh no, I mean I'm saying no. I said they wouldn't pay rent.
They
For
would
living
not pay
within
rent.
the mine itself, they would not be paying rent. So basically, in that second section, I'd say they wouldn't. If to make things clearer, if you wanted to replace taxes with rent, that would be that would be fine.
Right. Okay.
I also
Yeah.
there's also I would offer my services as a go-between, because I imagine that heading to and from settlements in order to buy materials and such that they would need would be difficult as a fugitive. I'd offer my services as a go-between. Provide them, what's it called? I provide materials in exchange for whatever it is that they're willing to barter for them. I
I'm
don't
sure
think
my
I'd
retainers
charge
could handle
money,
that.
and I don't think they have much money. All they have is raw silver in that cart. But
So
that's still barterable.
so you would offer to be a middleman to buy supplies for the escaped slaves. That
Correct.
requires you to, be in the area. I know that you're an adventurer, so you would go to different places. I talked about an opportunity in Fandor. I talked about an opportunity in the West. So it seems like you would need to hire someone else to do that. Like you're willing to
My retainers
that's
could handle that.
your retainers. Okay.
Indeed.
So
We do
that's.
have.
I think we're moving in the right direction. I think you just need to iron out some of the more vague terms here. Let's talk about the first one. You would not need to pay rent to Cypher to live in the Dwarven mine. Yeah, that's perfectly reasonable. Just like a tavern or an inn might charge you rent if you were to live there. But then again, the escaped slaves could just build their own house the Dwarven mine, it's not a secret where it is. They could just build it in the
No,
hills, they build in the forest.
perhaps, but
They'll be closer to the mine to go and work and achieve their income, and in exchange for a larger monetary value for their time, they'll be given a place to go and live, raise their family, and build as much as they want.
exactly. And I'll put it bluntly. The mine is also easily fortified sort of place. Remember, those hills are crawling with dungeons. Going too far off the beaten path is not a good idea. Let's say that.
All right.
It's not. So, of course, hey, they're free, I suppose. They may do as they please. I can't stop them. But if they choose to go off into the hills and build their own houses, there's no guarantee of safety, because if I don't know where they are, I can't rush to their defense or anything.
Okay. So you're saying that you want them to live in your dwarven mine, and in exchange, you think they'll earn more money?
Ease of access, but yeah, they'd also earn more if they were closer.
if they worked
No
harder.
need to spend half a day traversing or traveling to the mine
It,
just to work for
it wouldn't take half
a
a day.
few.
They just set up shop like 10 minutes away. It doesn't really make sense that I mean, I understand what you're saying. You offer them you say that they can rent a place to live in the mine or not you won't charge them for them to live in the mine, but I mean, I don't see how that's now I do see how the dwarven mine is surrounded by dungeons and very dangerous. I can understand that. You let them into your mine in that case, but it seems like a necessity, right? If they can't live
It
anywhere
does
else,
seem
if they would be killed anywhere else by the dungeons, by
like
the
I'm saying.
monsters, then it seems like of course they would need to be in the mine, otherwise they'd be dead. So it's not really much of a bonus here. It's not
Like
it's not an incentive. It's a requirement because they'd be trapped. Freshwater. I guess you've. Do you disagree?
I'm not forcing them to come with me.
I
They
know
don't
it's
have
not.
to
I'm
live in
trying
the
to
area of
iron
the
out the
mine.
details on your offer to them so that they get a good deal, and you get clarity on what you're going to give and what they're going to get, what the escaped slaves are going to give to you, and what you're going to get. So there's transparency here is what I'm trying to work out.
Well,
Nothing
yes,
personal, Valkyrie, but I think Cypher is quite capable of realizing what he's getting and giving out of a deal. He's quite a capable businessman, if
Yeah.
I know
Cypher's
him.
a businessman. I've dealt with people like this before in the guilds. The workers need protection too, and I'm telling you, I'm going to protect the workers here and give them clarity on their contract because it sounds like as soon as the workers get to the dwarven mine, they're going to be trapped
oh,
because there's dungeons and very dangerous monsters nearby. There's only one employer, and it's called the dwarven mine. So, yeah, I want to do a little bit of protection here because I know how the
Well,
guilds, I know how
there would
worker
be
exploitation
multiple.
works. Worker exploitation works.
um,
Is your
well, the
off?
mine has been secured.
Yeah.
The mine itself is not dangerous. In fact, I have artisans, different sorts of merchants and such coming and going all the time. But I see how you would think, how you think that living within the mine would be a requirement for them to come with me. I'm not saying, like I said, the terms of where exactly they live in the area is it's completely up to them. If they desire to live within, then yeah, I'm not offering this necessity under the guise of giving it as a gift, expecting something in return. I'm just like stating what their living arrangements would be.
Okay.
That they'd be
Okay.
free to choose from anything in the area.
All right. So freshwater, it
Hmm.
it seems like they'd be able to get fresh water anywhere. I mean, they can get fresh water here at Blue Harbor. There's a well, many wells around the city. There's fresh water in Phandalin, fresh water in Red Larch. I
Ah, yes, but to a burgeoning community, if they were to choose to go to the mine, getting fresh water would be the lack of clean water is one of the many is a something one of the main things that kills off burgeoning communities. I'm telling them that I imagine as since they lived on farmsteads before they were taken into slavery, they know the importance of having a steady source of fresh water if they're going to survive. I'm saying that need has been taken care of.
okay. That's good. It's good that you met the basic, necessities here. It just seems
Of
like
course,
if you're trying to convince them to come with you, and that's great. I actually wouldn't mind it if you offered them a good deal. I'd be happy if they were to join you. It just seems like you're offering fresh water where there's fresh water everywhere. It's just basically saying, if I'm understanding you correctly, you're saying that your community meets the basic requirement of having fresh water. Is that what you're saying?
um, yes, pretty much. I don't want them worrying that they're coming off to live in what is essentially a prison town. Even
Okay.
prison towns
All
some kind
right.
of water. I want them to know that this is, at the very least, at the very least, I can guarantee like the basic necessities for survival.
All right.
That they wouldn't be, roughing it out in the woods like when we found them.
Will you
With
provide
several of them wounded.
Okay,
Mhm.
so basic necessities. So basic necessities, food, water, shelter. So you offer them a place to stay. I'm assuming you have beds, you have
Yes,
blankets, you have everything for that shelter.
indeed.
Okay, so shelter is
Yes,
fully
and if
included.
I don't have enough blankets, not maybe blankets. That we can always buy more. I'm not by any means poor.
Are you gonna give them everything they need for a shelter? Place to cook, place
Yes,
to sleep, blankets,
really given.
drawers, clothing stuff, that kind of thing.
Yeah, my blacksmith, my personal servant, they've all been there for at least 2 or 3 weeks now, getting everything prepped.
Indeed. I can, in no uncertain terms, I can offer all the basic necessities.
All right, basic necessities. Basic necessities in my mind include fresh water, food, and shelter. So you've offered
Correct.
fresh water. You've promised
Mhm.
the shelter. Now let's talk about
Correct.
food. Are you going to be able to feed them every day, 3 meals a day?
Every day, 3 meals a day. Yes, I can.
Okay.
There is no food currently stockpiled there, but that's easy enough to rectify.
Okay.
Again, simply purchase some long-lasting, along with some grain. We actually have a friend who sells goods of that nature in Red Larch. Uh, Samwise. Not sure if you've heard of him. Good merchant, good friend. I believe we'd be able to purchase what's necessary off of him with little trouble.
Okay. So,
Don't we
job
also
wages.
have-
So everything that you've said so far, water, food, shelter, no need to pay rent, and the dwarven mine being surrounded by danger. That's basically the arrangement they had when they were, in slavery. Now let's talk about job wages. This is basically what puts you above being a slave owner. What are you offering them? What's their wages? Their daily wage? How are you going to pay them?
Well, that's simple, really. They'd get. What do you think would be a fair term? Those that are unable to work or infirm will get a stipend from myself. Obviously, I'm not gonna have everyone working double shifts to care for their sick mother or their children who aren't of an age to swing a pickaxe yet. And those who can work will be paid according to what they bring in, pretty much. Say
How many escape
10%,
slaves are there?
20%
I think there's 2 dozen.
Sorry.
I think there's 2 dozen escaped slaves. 24. So Cypher, what you're about to say, I want you to instead put it in terms of how much income you're going to get from the dwarven mine. So in downtime activities, you can get a certain amount of income at the start of every game session, and you get a certain amount of income when you export mithril. So how much income from those 2 sources are you willing to give to your workers?
Let's say for the first couple of weeks, I'll give them half. And then later on, once they're no longer so heavily dependent on me, I'll put it back. I'll put it down to maybe 30%.
30%. So 30% of everything. So 30% of what? Wait, 30%?
30% of the mine's profits. 30%.
Cypher, how much do you make every week?
It's not a week. It's every start of the game session. I make what's it called? 7d6 right now. I can't up it by doing certain tasks to up the number of d6 I roll. And right now, since I only have pretty much just volunteer workers in Cyrene, I make a d10 plus 1 for every week of downtime activity. I imagine with all of them working there, that's gonna skyrocket. But
Yeah.
I'm still willing to offer 30% because I increase the amount of money I make either way.
Yeah, so is this what you're talking about here? Where at the start of every game session, you get a passive income equal to XD6, or X equals 7 right now, and you're saying you'll give 30% of that to them at the start of every game session?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm perfectly willing to do that.
Across every person, we would need an income of at least 72 gold pieces to supply every one of them with a comfortable lifestyle.
Yeah.
That would be 3 gold pieces each.
Yeah. So 30% of
No. I think
income
you
per-
misunderstand. I'm paying them 30% of what I make. It's not like a set amount. If I make higher, they get more. If I
Oh,
make lower, they
Yeah,
get less.
so
Well, sorry,
let me
I understand. I'm just saying, like, we can adjust the percentage so it's more befitting of that. So you're not just like, oh, hey, here's like 20 gold pieces because we're doing really well this time.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, so let me get this straight here. 30% of the gold that you get from the start of every game session, and you're also including 30% of the profits from selling mithril?
From selling mithril, yes.
So both. Okay. And they're like really happy with that deal.
That seems like it's going to be a lot.
It does.
So
I'm trying to entice them.
yeah, so they're like yeah. They're like nodding, and so 30% of income earned at start of each game session, and from selling mithril. Is that just going to be from you, or is that also going to include your compatriots when they do this downtime?
I mean,
activity?
if they want to chip in, that's all them. But I'm the one making the promise.
So yeah, 24.
Forgive me, but I do not work in a mine. I do not understand what I would be paying.
Well, yeah, that's certainly.
Essentially,
Yes.
let me simplify it. 3 out of 10 of what you make, 3 shares out of 10, you would give to them. Should you purchase a stake in the mine? Like, say you made 10 bars of mithril, you'd sell 3 of them and give them the proceeds. You wouldn't have to pay anything though, so long as you don't have any share in the mine. I'm not trying to force everyone in the party into a decision that they wouldn't like.
By
Yes.
stake in the mine, what does this even entail? You've never.
Yeah,
I feel like this conversation is separate from you arguing with
Yes.
Cyrene about the escaped slaves.
out of
I
character,
feel like we
you
would be able
guys
to
haven't.
talk about this later.
Cypher owns the entire mine, and you guys are kind of just tag-alongs right now. Sorry, you guys didn't put any of the capital in when you signed the contract.
I know that. I know that.
Yeah, so
That's
you
why when you're like saying that I would be paying something right now when I'm not even part of it, I'm a little confused.
Yeah, so Cypher's
Oh, no.
offering 30%, basically profit sharing, 30% profit sharing from the mine to pay them.
Yeah, well, Remission kind of thinks that it's foolish to negotiate with Cyrene at all, and
Cyrene's not
sitting back
negotiating.
and fighting
Cyrene's
the
not. Out of character,
She
she's
just wants
not.
me to be.
She just
She's
wants you
just
to.
trying to
about-
clear up every point for the slaves to understand what
Yeah.
they're doing.
Yeah.
Also,
And
I think above the table, it's like for the sake of game mechanics, so that we know what's the give and the take here.
Yeah.
That's so nebulous.
So,
I come up when they say I made 1,000 gold.
so the escaped slaves would work for your mine. That's what they're offering. So they would do what you want
That
as
is
long as
correct.
it's reasonable, doesn't threaten them. So you would, so Cypher, you would expect that your followers up to a limit of 5. I think 5 is going to be. Wow, maybe we should increase that a little bit. Yeah, we might need to increase that a little bit for you.
We're gonna have quite a few people. I know a few of them
Yeah, let's say
could
that.
be like craftsmen and work with Drow.
Yeah, so let's say that there's 24, and let's say that there's a male and a female, and let's say the females are taking care of the house and they're cooking all that stuff, or maybe some of the men are doing that. But let's say half of them are working, so that's gonna be 12.
That's well.
So 12. All right. So I'm going to say that your new number of followers is you're going to gain 12 followers that can work. You actually gain 24, but you have 12 that can work. So you get what, Anna plus 12, that's 13. You get
Yep.
you get 13.
Weren't some of them
followers.
guards as well?
Well, if you want to make them guards, you can, but yeah, that's
That
Cypher's
would
decision.
detract from the mining. I think maybe I'll make maybe 3 of them guards, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Okay, so 12 from the escaped slaves plus 1 from Anna. All right. Next point you said was you think no one will look for the escaped slaves at the Dwarven mine, so that's just an opinion. Cypher says he would do some kind of vague negotiation on behalf of the escaped slaves. So this is a sticking point. Let's say that you're discovered, and it seems like there's some interest in your Dwarven mine. So Cyrene says, maybe you are discovered. I'm sure these people don't want you to just sell them down the river, sell them back to Onabyre. So, yeah, what kind of promises can you give them for protection?
Well, the first thing I'll attempt to do is just outright buy their contracts.
All right, so how much money are
I
you
don't
willing
mean
to...
own them,
How much money will you spend to buy their contracts?
as much as is necessary.
And,
As much as I've got.
Okay, so you will spend all the money, all your assets, your capital, everything, to buy their contracts.
While I won't trade away the mine, as it is the most valuable thing I possess, I will trade next to anything else. Money, potions, and labor.
Items?
I only have, well, I have 2 items.
So, for
One of
example,
them,
magic items? I know you guys have those. You looted them from a chest that I still don't know where that came from.
You'll find out. Yeah. If it comes to it, I'm more than willing. I am a craftsman of a rather arcane nature. Items can always be replaced. People can.
All right, so you're willing to trade anything except the Dwarven mine to buy the slaves if they are discovered.
Yes.
Okay, let's say that the authorities, they're caught, the taskmaster just wants to make an example of them, kill them, and they're not willing to accept money. What do you do now?
Then we have a problem. Well, in that sort of unreasonable circumstance, there are other places that they can go. I believe it would be expedient to aid them in escaping.
Okay, so you commit, you promise to...
I'm committing, yeah.
You commit to helping them escape if the authorities find them and want to deport them, essentially. They're not in the cell.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm committing. My solemn word. My word is bond.
Okay. Commits promises to help them escape. This is good. This is good. You're saying all the right things, Cypher, and I appreciate that. You're not lying, right? Otherwise, she's doing insight here. So you gotta tell me if you're lying.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not. I'm holding something back. That being that it's very likely that I would remove the taskmaster if he was being unreasonable. Everything I have said so far is truth.
Yeah, no, Cyrene's not after that, so you wouldn't need to roll a deception. Deception checks are when you bluff, you misdirect, or you try to not answer the question. That kind of stuff, that's where deception works out. But Cyrene's not even after that. Cyrene's after what are the terms of the deal. That's what her objective is, not if you're going to deal with the taskmasters or anything like that. So you promise to help the escaped slaves escape if they are discovered, and you can't buy the contracts. And you cannot buy them with money. And then finally, you offer to be a middleman to buy supplies for the escaped slaves. So, okay. With that deal, yeah, all the escaped slaves are going to be pretty excited to sign on with you. Let's see, what is the deal that Cyrene offers? Cyrene offers to go to for them to go to Fandor and Phandalin. They'll start new lives under the protection of the clerics. It doesn't matter if they're discovered or not because they're going to get sanctuary in their temples. And, if the courts rule that you need to return the property, the court of the gods will rule that, nope, they deserve to stay. And the aristocrats can just go, they can do whatever they want. We're not giving them. They wouldn't get as much money, that's for sure. They'd live in, they'd accept, they'd be farmers, gardeners, cobblers, make a few silver every day, get some bread, pray in peace. And they just live over there, quiet seclusion for a while. And that was Cyrene's offer, but your offer is much more attractive. So they are going to accept your offer, and they will be journeying with you. And Cyrene isn't mad about it at all, because it was good.
Money talks.
All right, so there it is. That's the stuff I wrote down for your offer. All right, and with that, Cyrene's going to go to the temple without the slaves, and she's going to talk to them. I'm guessing that the escaped slaves are outside in the forest somewhere. You wouldn't want to go into the city. Is that the case? Actually, no, they already were in the city. I talked about how they led the wagon in, led the cow in. So yeah, they're just chilling out, but nobody knows that they're escaped slaves. So, Now.
I think the break is in 12. Oh, we missed the one at 1 o'clock.
Yes.
Might as well.
Yeah, but now this is going to be the end of the game session. Now you got to decide what next to do. You're in Blue Harbor. You guys can travel to somewhere else if you want, but we can leave that for next session. We'll end it here at Blue Harbor.
Righteous.
All right.
All right. Yeah. Yeah.
Wait.
All right. Well, I'll be sure to this time I'll post some ideas about stuff that I'd like to do during next session
That
before
sounds
the
good.
game.
Yeah, it sounds good. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This game.
All
Yeah,
right.
thanks for running the game, Austin.
You're welcome.
It's nice playing with you guys,
Oh,
and I'll see you next.
real quick, just before
It's fun.
I
A
forget,
lot of
do
debate.
we get any XP? Just so that
Oh,
we don't
yeah,
have to
yes.
re-log in.
Yeah, let's do some XP here. We're gonna do 3,650 EXP. 3,650. That's a good chunk.
Each?
Each, yeah. $3,650.
There it is. Okay, we level up.
All right, guys.